Yeah, it's CC, CEO. Wanna change your life? Come see me, yo. I'ma teach you how to build up wealth for your family, not just for yourself. I'm a bestseller, a house flipper, a businesswoman, a go-getter, a big investor, a goal builder that can teach you to get richer like millions, baby. You really about to fill your savings. You about to have multiple streams to pass your children, baby. Let me teach you to get your credit on track in the long run. You'll make it all back at Catalyst and watch it all psychology black-owned firm, but we ain't all black.
What's happy Monday? Do you guys know? Let me see. Make sure my mic is on. Yeah. Do y'all know how much I missed y'all this weekend? Like for real. Like I really missed y'all. I really miss talking to y'all. You guys just always come in. You guys always are so warm and it's so engaging, and I absolutely love it. And so I've been waiting all weekend to talk to y'all today. Welcome back to the Grow Your Money Podcast. It's your girl, Constance Carter. And as always, you know I love for you to talk back to me and talk black to me. You know that this is a dialogue and it is not a monologue. So I love the engagement. I see Sophia. She was on there waiting even before we came in. I saw lovely JR already waiting before we came in. Thank you, friends. Every time we come live, I need you to, if you want to get notified, just in case you forget, text Constance to 87948. Text Constance to, you see that right there? Text my name to 87948 so that you can get notified every time I go live. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is, I like to know where y'all watching from. So put in the chat where you're watching from. Sophia already knows. So she already put that she was from Stockton. Yes. But where's everybody else watching from? Because I just like to shout you out because I know that we have people that are watching from all over the world. So whether you're in the United States or across the pond, maybe you're up north in Canada, maybe you're down south in Mexico, put in the comments where you watch from so that we can shout you out. Okay. So that's another thing. See, we got Brandon McCarthy from Australia. What's up, Brandon? What time is it over in Australia, Brandon? I see JC. What's up, JC's in Columbus. What's happening? Where everybody else from? Born and raised in So you over there by my homegirl, my partner in crime. She's not too far from me. She's not in Compton, but she's over there in Southern Cal. And I see Teresa is from Gastonia, North Carolina. What's up, Teresa? Brooklyn. Big up to Brooklyn. Gino, Charleston. What's up, G Macbeth? What's happening? You from Compton. I love it. So also, we practice collective economics up in this piece. So every time you're on here, if you have a product, if you have a service, put it in the comments because we want to shout you out. Okay? Put it in the comments because we want to shout you out. Now, I'm upgrading a little bit. So I'm doing a little, I've been working real hard and I try to make this as engaging and informative for you as possible. So I did a little pre-roll that I wanted to,
For decades, they push one narrative about our communities: violence, crime, despair. But what if I told you the real story is a little bit different? Here's the truth. Black on black crime is on the decline. While the media focuses on fear, we're going to focus on facts. The real story is about progress, resilience, and the power of community. This isn't just about crime rates dropping. It's about how we're investing in our communities, we're building wealth, and we are changing the narrative. It's your girl, Constance Carter, and on this episode of the Grow Your Money Podcast, we're going to dive deep into the facts, the impact, and the future. So hit play and stay or chat live because it's time to change the story.
It's time to change the story. Yes. So listen, I don't know if you knew, how many of you guys knew that black on black crime is on the decline? Did anybody in the comments know? And as you answer that question, I'm going to bring up my girl, my partner in crime, the one and the only Miss Black Hollywood. Where you at? Hey, what you doing today?
Good morning, Constance. Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, baby. What's happening?
Perfect. Man, I'm working with my daughter. I'm on the set of Abbott Elementary today. She's working, so I'm somewhere in a corner in the middle of some sheets in between. They're doing hair and makeup for the kids over there, all the things. So that's what's happening today, y'all. I almost didn't hop on because I was like,
Look at this is dedication. My homie is dedicated. You hear me? She is dedicated to y'all. She dedicated to giving y'all the tea. She's dedicated to having these great conversations with me. So
Yeah.
thank you for hopping on anyway,
Yeah.
boo.
I love that little intro video. I see you. I see you. I see the
Let me tell you something. Can I tell you
and it
something? I'll tell you a little
rhymed.
secret. Let me say.
Like black on black crime is on decline. Like, listen, that's a bar.
I'm trying to listen. I'm trying to do it. I'm trying to be a producer like you. I did that in my car on the way to, like, as soon as I got into the gym, I did that in my car.
I'm not mad at it. I
And then I
love
did,
it.
and then I did the graphics when I was on the elliptical.
Look at you. Look at you.
See that you
Super
talk about time
productive.
management.
Man, that's productive. What's up, y'all? What's up, everybody? Y'all in the gym today? Welcome.
Stay in the gym. Tiara, did you know about black? Because you don't hear this in the media. What you do hear, what you will hear is that we killing each other at high rates, that we out there wilding out, that we're in teen pregnancies is outrageous, that we're
Nobody
getting
gets married.
abortions, yeah,
There ain't no good black
welfare,
men.
yeah, black men ain't in the home, they're not taking care of their kids. But actually, when I've done my research on this here, the opposite is actually happening in our community. And that's a good thing. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So black on black crime is on the decline. But if you didn't know, most people don't know, because the way they exacerbate black on black crime is that we're just out there just killing each other.
Yeah.
Well, did you
Yeah.
know white people are killing each other at the same rate as black people are killing each other? So
Okay.
over 80% of the homicides that happen to black people do them. But guess what? 80% of the homicides that white people do are done by white people. And guess what? 80% of the homicides by Hispanics do them.
Hmm.
Yeah, so there's not this big epidemic of black on black crime per se. People really do crime based upon the people that they're around. So
Mm.
if you're in a black community, or if you're in Hispanic, or if you're around all whites, you have a proximity to committing crimes against the people who are around you.
I see. I see. I didn't know that. But I knew it. I don't believe anything I hear. I got to look. Like you said, you got to look at the numbers. But I know
Hmm.
that there's definitely a story that's always associated with our community. I say that all the time. Y'all know story is my love language.
Hmm.
And so I know that a lot of it is cap, as the kids say.
It's cap.
And we have to really like look and see what is
Yeah,
really going on. So I love that. I love hearing that. It makes me feel because I know we say this all the time, but Constance, when we're like, I don't know black people like that. I don't know. I missed it. How often do we say that? And where are
yeah,
these stories coming from? There's these generalizations like, black people just can't get it together, sometimes we buy into that.
we
We
do.
buy into it.
Yeah. If you tell the story long enough, then it becomes true,
Yeah.
because you're a storyteller. So,
Yeah.
look, people, I had this motto: nobody works harder than Constance Carter, right? And everybody's like, Constance, you just work so hard. I could have been laying on the beach, but somebody think I'm somewhere working hard because I've created this mantra,
Yeah.
and that's it. I repeated it over and over and over and over again. And then other people started to buy into it. And so now what do they think? They think this chick is the hardest working chick in real estate. I might not have been doing shit. What
Listen, I
y'all
mean, that's
think?
good. That's good marketing. That's good marketing. Let me ask you this question. Who's the best rapper alive?
The best rapper alive today?
Who's the best rapper right now?
I guess Kendrick.
Kendrick is the best rapper right
I
now?
would say.
Okay.
Who you
Okay.
say?
Who's in your top three?
My top. Okay, Biggie.
Okay.
So you said dead or alive. Okay, so Biggie. Um,
There's a reason why I'm asking this question, y'all.
okay, I would say Biggie. I would say shit, top three. Who do I be
Come
listening
on,
to?
come on, come on, come on. This is I'm just trying to prove a point.
Ice Cube.
Okay. Listen, Constance obviously is from the West Coast. Most people that I talk to, there's a Jay-Z in that top three,
I was
right?
gonna say it, but I don't really listen to Jay-Z like that.
Okay, so here's the deal. I feel like for the longest time, Jay-Z was like, I'm the best rapper. I'm the best
Oh,
rapper.
got it.
I'm the
Okay.
best rapper. I'm the best rapper alive. And then people just, whether you believe it or not, I feel like people just associate him with greatness, right? Because
Because
it's
yeah,
something that he just kept saying and telling you through the music and just in interviews. And, so I don't know. I just think that maybe if we did that, we took those cues. I was like, that's good marketing.
that's great
Because now you
marketing.
can't associate him without being one of the greatest in hip hop. You
Well,
know,
I mean, of course, it was in my thought, but I'm thinking me personally, I don't listen to Jay-Z like that. So I couldn't say that was true for me.
Yeah.
But of course, yeah, I be sea walking. I'm West Coast. I mean, it's all it's all through my DNA, baby.
So how did you feel? How did you feel about last night? Y'all tell me how y'all felt about last night's
I
Super Bowl.
enjoyed it. I
You
enjoyed it.
did?
I was out here, I'm out here. First of all, I was going for the Eagles just because KC kept whooping my Niners ass. So I just wanted to Kansas. I didn't have a dog in the fight, but I'm a Niner fan. So I wanted KC to get their asses whooped because, there's just this thing. So and then of course I'm on the East Coast. So everybody where I was going for the Eagles. So, it was sort of that thing too. But I love the halftime show. I thought it was awesome. I thought that Kendra did a great job. Now, I had to go back and listen to it and look at it. Of course, the youngsters, they knew exactly what he was saying. So I had to go back and listen to the symbolism, and I saw the pictures, and I saw the commentary.
I had to go back and watch it and study it again. Why you sound like an old lady just now? Because the kids could get it on the first listen. I had to go back. I'm still boycotting the NFL, to be honest. So I didn't watch the game, but I did hop on YouTube and watch the halftime show just to see what Kendrick did. And okay, I was like, okay, it was cool. I mean, it wasn't Usher dancing and flipping and fireworks, but there was a point. There was a point he said it was bigger than the music, like this moment was. But I felt bad for Drake last night.
Yeah,
I felt really bad for Drake. I felt bad,
You
y'all.
felt bad for him?
I did. I did. Nobody wants
Yeah.
to be on the biggest platform in the world being called a pedophile. That was awful. I was just like,
I mean,
why is he? How is he allowed to do that? This is
yeah.
awful. Anyway,
They said a minor in unison on that stage.
I was so.
Yeah.
Ugh,
It was like off with his head. Yeah,
it was
it was a lot.
secondhand embarrassment for Drake. Like that's awful. A whole
He was
stadium
somewhere
of
crying in
people.
the car.
Man,
They said he was in Australia and he was ranting and raving about ex-girlfriends or something. And I saw a video. I didn't get a chance to listen to it, but Serena was his ex-girlfriend. She's sea walking during the thing, so it was just the whole thing. Yeah,
it was
I heard
my
that.
babe. Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I
Drake.
didn't mean to take you off course. Go ahead. You
No,
were talking
but
about
that was good. But I mean, yeah, that's part of that black on black crime. And, but they banging on wax, right?
they was banging on wax.
They was banging on wax. But I did want to kind of go through, historically, like where all this stuff came from, because you think about, and I like to give a historical perspective because I love history, and I'm a history buff. But when you think about after emancipation and when we were free, did you know that Black people had like 19 million acres of land? This is right after the Civil War. Even though we didn't get our 40 acres and a mule, we worked. Our people worked and worked and worked. And despite like all the systemic barriers, we ended up getting like 19 million acres of land. Today, I think we have like 3 million acres of land. But so our land ownership has decreased significantly. So therefore, our access to wealth has decreased, but our access to wealth has decreased, but our wealth has increased, right? So when you think about what happened after slavery, you had the 13th Amendment, which says slavery was abolished except for servitude, indentured servitude. So then you have privatized prisons. Then you have the increase of the Black codes, and that's where they criminalize Black people at a high rate for doing things like loitering. Black man's loitering in front of a store. They arrest him. They give him life in prison of hard labor. These are the types of things that they did all across the South. So this increased in mass incarceration. Then you go through the years, and then when we've amassed wealth and we've built wealth and we've done all these things, then you have, when we've talked about this, Tiara, we've had, situations where we've had these affluent neighborhoods and, these communities and these cities. And what did they do? They bombed it and burned it down. Then you have the evolution of crack. And well, you have our leaders rising, right? Trying to unify us and giving free breakfast to the kids and trying to, overcome police brutality. And, then they label and target our leaders as threats. They breed mistrust within the organization. They have, spies in there. And then, the government killed, a lot of the leaders, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Fred Hampton, So there's been this infiltration, this constant infiltration, that every time we take 2 steps forward, they push us 10 steps backwards, right? So there's
Correct.
always just this, every time we go, but we are resilient. So even
Hmm.
though, crack cocaine came into the community and it destroyed the community, and then that's when you see a huge significance of black on black crime increasing,
Hmm.
we've been able to just even wade through that.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, we're just like, and you got to wonder why too, Tierra. You got to wonder why do they do all of this stuff to our people? Why is there a constant and ever evolving threat against Black people? Why?
Because we're powerful. Because we're
Oh,
amazingly, amazingly amazing.
yeah,
Because
because
it's
of
a
all those
threat to
things.
America, right? I don't
We're
even think we're a threat to America. We've been a good contribution to this country.
yes,
Like we've been the contribution. We are America. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
this is America, us,
right,
right?
right,
It
right.
wouldn't exist without us. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, but it is interesting that now with the erasing of Black history and them trying to do away with DEI. And actually, I didn't watch the game because they did you see the article that I sent you where they removed in racism from the end zone because Donald Trump was coming to the game?
Yeah,
And so
hmm,
I was like, I'm not watching that. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like I just
right,
still I just feel like they appease him in ways. It's like, why would you remove that and then try to make it like we're all one or something like
right.
that?
We're
Like,
colorblind.
yeah, yeah, but that's not what it is. So I feel like this is the attack, y'all. This is the attack of maybe this decade, because every decade to me is something new. But
Something
this
new.
is the thing, right? Let's target Black people and get rid of them with DEI, and then also let's erase the history. Let's stop talking about racism. I mean, let's stop talking about racism. Let's stop talking about slavery. Let's create, get rid of race theory because,
Yeah,
it's all theory. It wasn't
yeah.
real.
Yeah. And but
So,
then what they don't realize is they fucked around, gave us the internet. And so now we have access to shit. Like I do these, so all this whole month I'm doing like a Black History Month moment like every single day.
yep.
So a lot of them are getting some good views on TikTok. And people are saying, wow, I'm learning more on TikTok than I've ever learned in the history books.
Yes.
So, they didn't mess around. They gave us the internet. We got TikTok. We got all of these other things that we have access to. So you could try to take it away from the schools, but guess what? Our kids aren't primarily learning things in schools. They're
Yep.
not. So
Yep.
you could try to take it away from us if you want to. But see, that's the thing about it is, I think when you talked about the different decades of different things going on, and now you're seeing on one side of their mouth they say, oh, we're going to end racism and we're going to have a colorblind society. On the other side of their mouth they say we need competent white men running the country.
Yeah.
So you are exacerbating this racist, systemic system. But
Yep.
then you basically want to throw a rock and hide your hands, and that's what the powers of that be have done this whole time. And it's so funny because we've just been asleep. They've always done this. We've just been really pacified,
Yeah.
and believing that we were in a post-racist society. Hey, you guys got Obama.
Yep.
Look what happened when we got Obama.
I
Then
think we're still paying for
we're
that.
paying.
I mean,
We're
Trump is
paying.
mad. He big mad, y'all.
Yeah,
Like
and
that's the
all the white
thing.
people have saying that we have the audacity to try to be equal or try to be have authority over them.
Mm.
And that's the crazy thing. So we're still dealing with that. But here's the thing. Um,
I'm
a
so
few
glad
years,
I'm on a black set, y'all. I'm so glad I'm on a black set because people are over here like, so, I'm on a set
yeah,
of
you want a
Abbott
black?
Elementary. I'm on a set of Abbott Elementary, so it ain't like I'm on another set where it's like,
Yeah, but
like
how is it over there on the set?
it's blackety black. I wish
Is it?
I would walk around, y'all. There, there's a black
Yeah,
crew, there's black.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
all
You gotta give us the behind the scenes.
yeah. I mean, it's not fancy. It's just some kids.
Yeah. So are they on there on certain days?
What, the kids?
Hmm.
Yeah, there's kids. There's kids on every episode of
No, I'm
Abbott
saying
Elementary.
is this like only a kid day?
Oh no. Everybody is here.
Oh, okay.
Everybody is here. Go
So
ahead, continue.
no. So just having just looking at all of the things that continue to happen. I was looking at the numbers as I was doing research for this. Okay. So over the last several years, let me just tell you this. Entrepreneurship amongst Black people has this is in the last 2 years. Entrepreneurship has increased by 34%. Home ownership has increased up to 44%. HBCU enrollment has increased by 34%. And 30 college degrees have increased by 31%. Okay. I love that. And then if you look at what HBCUs produce, 40% of the Congress members are from HBCUs. 40% of Black engineers are from HBCUs. 50% of Black lawyers are from HBCUs. And 80% of Black judges are from HBCUs. So, as we continue to forge forward with with our education, you can't take our education from us. And the more that they try to stop us, we going harder. Black women are the most educated population in this country, and we're getting more educated. And then they're saying that, there's, we hear the statistics a lot of about Black men not being in the home. Black men are taking care of their kids more than ever before, and they continue to take care of their kids. You good over there? You good over there? Okay.
Yeah.
It's a lot going on. It's a lot going on behind you.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know what's happening, but they just brought a whole bunch of people in here. It's live, baby. I'm gonna mute myself.
It's all good.
But I'm here.
Yeah. So then I want to talk about the cities that have declined. So if you look at all the major cities, New Orleans, crime has decreased by 25% since 2024. Baltimore was one of the most dangerous cities. Crime decreased by 20%. Miami, DC, Austin, Columbus, Omaha. Okay. So while when it was sensational for them to say that Black on Black crime was, just outrageous and we were just killing each other in record numbers, you don't see the same statistics about the crime decreasing anywhere. Nobody's going to celebrate you Black people about decreasing crime in different areas. And so the reason why I wanted to have this discussion is because crime has decreased significantly, and we need to know that we are making gains. So when they said that, Black median wealth in 2053 was going to be a zero, and that we were just going to be, we're just going down this tunnel, I believe, Tiara, it's a narrative that they're trying to create for us. So because they've created these narratives all throughout since our inception in this country, since our arrival in this country, they talked about, us being 3/4 human, and then us being lazy, even though we built this country. Then we're violent animals, and then we're criminals. And if they keep saying all of these negative things, then guess what? We're going to believe it. And so then we've adopted the same language. Yeah. Yes, we see, crime on TV and online and all that stuff that they pinpoint with Black people, but that's not true for the most part. But they're going to look at small segments and they're going to, magnify it. But this is by design. Yeah. So I just want to change that conversation and say, no, listen, we're not doing all the things, especially on the same level. They put the crack in our community to demobilize and mobilize our communities.
It's gaslighting, right? It's like I'm doing it to you, and then saying I'm poking the bear. I'm doing it to you, and then saying I don't know what you're talking about. You're the one. It's you. You're the problem, right? And so I just see the projecting that they have done with us. You shared a video of somebody cutting somebody's baby, Mary Turner's baby. Somebody cut that lady's baby out of her stomach, and we are we're barbaric, right? I just think we've been, if we've learned anything, I think we've learned that behavior from them. I mean, I think that's the reason that if we whip our children, it's just like that whole thing, keep them in line, whip them. I just feel like everything that we've learned about who we are, we've gotten it from them.
Yeah. And it's the gaslighting, just like you said. So it's like, first of all, I do this to you, and then I ask you, well, why are you doing this? Why are you responding in this way? It's just like you dealing with a narcissist man, and he's lying to you, and then you going crazy. He's like, why are you going crazy? Why? Because you lying to me. I'm not lying to you. You're the crazy one. Then they make you think that you're crazy. So then they make you think you're an animal because they've said it enough. They've tricked you. They put all this stuff in front of you, and now you're the freaking animal. So, that's what America has done. But I just really wanted to have a new conversation and just change the narrative and change the conversation to let you guys know, Black people, we are doing very well. We're doing extremely well. So I want to bring our guest. We do have a special guest. I want to bring our guest on here.
Yes.
This is Lisa. Lisa is so dope. She's so amazing. Lisa is she's a Black and blue mom. She's been in law enforcement for over 30 years, and now she is an advocate and a visionary leader for Moms of Black Boys United. And she's originally from Philly, so she got her victory last night. I know she's happy she got her victory last night. But she's been out there on the streets. She's been advocating for, and it's so ironic that not only has she been a Black and blue mom, like in law enforcement, but she's also seen how they turn against Black boys. What's your story, Lisa? Like, what's your experience been like just being in law enforcement? Look, I gotta be your twin right now, so
I know. I was thinking the same thing. Good morning, everybody. And yes, I got my whistle. Yes, go Eagles. I got to shout out Philly. Sorry. Anywho, as far as the police thing, I went through school and thought, I could make a change, right? So fast forward 30 years later, imagine looking around in your office and realizing nothing has changed. I literally read my thesis from 1987 and realized nothing has changed as far as us progression and getting equity and justice and things that, are making a difference, right? I worked in the DC and MPD with racist internal affairs agents. I worked and I saw things happening internally. And that's when DEIC all came on, and we're supposed to be making great strides and changes. But it was really like checking the box on the outside, but they weren't doing the work on the inside because you still had the middle managers and the officials that were very racist, very biased, and very outward with it that were controlling the narrative. So that catapulted me into, someone from Moms of Black Boys United found me. We call it Mob United, Moms of Black Boys United. And I've been doing that since 2018, 2019. So that's where the Black and blue mom comes in because, I've always been Black, been a mom for 31 years, but the blue thing over 33 years, but having skin in the game. I got 3 children and 2 sons. So it's real.
Let me ask you a question because, I was in when I heard you talk about, these really racist systems and people that are inside law enforcement. When I was in Stockton, California, I was in Leadership Stockton. How you have, how all the cities have the leadership programs. I was a part of Leadership Stockton. And, some of the police officers or some of the ones who were trying to become leaders in the community had to go through Leadership Stockton. And so I remember talking to a police officer and his mindset of what he thought about criminals. And I said, but people could change it. He was like, no, they can't. He was like, they're scum of the earth. He's like, you sound like my wife. My wife is a counselor and she thinks people could change, but they can't. They're just scum. They're just like, there's no hope. And so you have these types of people that are policing our children. And of course, if they think criminals are scum, then you add the fact that they're Black or brown on top of that. How then are they going to be community facing or facing the community with their biases of thinking that they're already criminals? That was a scary thing for me because my kids were small at the time, but that was the realization for me that shit, at any given time, these, they can come across somebody like him who automatically is going to criminalize my son. Did you find that people like that in law enforcement that you work with?
Absolutely. I mean, I literally would hear them make jokes about Black men, inside of the department. I literally heard them say things that were negative and completely biased. And you can't do an investigation, especially an internal affairs one, with that kind of bias in the street, because now everything that you've touched is now corrupted or in question, right?
Right.
Because, you think it's a joke and it's no, all Black men are this or that. So are you really fairly, processing that situation and serving that family? No, you're not. And, when the regime internally doesn't really get those folks out of there, but they say they are, you're just doubling down on the problem. So
how do you think?
Talking about that warrior guardian? I'm sorry, that warrior guardian thing, like you're saying, they come in like boom, 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 military. Thinking about how police started, right? And we got away from the guardian thing where we're officer friendly and we're really helping build up the community. That's what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be serving, right? But literally, the problem that I find in the urban areas, especially here in DC, is that you're bringing in transplants from other places across the country that haven't even seen Black and brown. Then they get in here, then they scared. Then they get, they don't want to get out, So when you have that type of anxiety, you can't properly help or propel or do anything purposeful because you're scared, right? No training in amount of that. And what were you going to say? I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, I love, it's so interesting because I do have a really good friend of mine who's been a police officer for quite some time. And like you said, Constance, automatically there's a lean towards the negative because of the kind of people, a bias that you deal with a certain kind of person every day or a certain kind of people, so you automatically think negatively, right? But how do you keep that conscious, like how do you kind of keep that in check every day when you're dealing with certain kinds of people, black, white, brown, doesn't matter. You're dealing with people that are slick every day. Like, how do you keep that centered? So every day it's like, I can't assume this person everything is from a negative lens. Like they're just,
right. Well, the first thing is that you have to have the mindset and be wise enough to come in intentionality. Each situation is different. You can never come into the situation assuming you know what you're looking at, because you don't. Right. And so if you're in a city where, like in DC, there's 7 districts, and certain districts are known for being worse and other districts are known for not as much. They have a system. One of the positive things in the police department is they'll switch them around. So you're not in that area where you're just inundated with all of the stuff that's really negative, and they'll put you in another district. So then you have a balance of it, right? There needs to be more of that, because that not only helps the community, but that also helps the officer, right? And so there is a black side and there's a blue side. And that's kind of when I got into Moms of Black Boys. We were doing a roundtable about safe traffic stops, because I met Valerie Castile, Philando Castile's mother, and meeting her and hearing the heartbreak of what was going on in Minnesota was like very emotional, and also, very hurtful, because I thought, like, I've been here for 33 years and we didn't really make as much of a dent as we thought we did, going back to the basics.
Yeah. And even with those traffic stops, there's a situation that happened to my son about 1.5 years ago. And it was very scary, Lisa. My son was coming home. I was in California. My son was in, can y'all see me? Is it me? Is it
yes,
me? Okay.
I can see
my son was I was in California. My son was in Virginia, and he was coming back to Maryland, and he got pulled over by the police. And so he calls me. He's like, "Mom, I got pulled over by the police." He's in an all black Lexus, black on black on black, right? Black boy, black dreads, everything black. So he's in a black Lexus, tinted windows. He's like, "Mom, I got pulled over by the police." I said, "Okay." So I said, "Put me on FaceTime." So, it takes the police about, 5 minutes, 8 minutes to come to the window. So we just chopping it up. And he's like, "Yeah, I don't know what I did. I don't know. Did I get in the left lane without using my blinker?" Like, he has no clue. Suddenly, I hear the police yelling, and my son is begging and pleading for his life. Tears are streaming down his face, and there is a gun to my son's head.
I don't think you ever
and
told
so
me
I
that.
started recording. I'm just quiet because I don't want to exacerbate the situation. I don't want to cause the police to, get scared and accidentally shoot my son. And my son is just begging. He's like, I'm sorry. I don't know what I did. I'm sorry. He's just like, what did I do? I'm sorry. He's just saying, I'm sorry. And the only thing my son said he could think of was, please don't let me get shot with my mom watching me on FaceTime.
Oh, wow.
And that police officer, he thought of every excuse he could in the book to say, you changed lanes. Oh, well, when he finally saw my son was just some kid, you know what I'm saying? Some college. My son's in college, Dean's List. He's just a black kid with a black Lexus
driving while black.
Driving while black. And he could have easily been Philando Castile. You know what I mean? So, and I'm on the FaceTime, and I have a video of just the tears streaming down my son's face while all of this is going on. And, it's just really scary. And I'm so grateful that nothing happened to him. But it was scary. And so it affected him for months and months and months. Like, he was dealing with anxiety behind that. just, and I've been preparing them for this their whole lives, and some people say, well, why are you putting that out there in the universe? Why are you preparing your sons for, the worst case scenario? You got to think positive. No. I got to think reality, because look at what ended up happening. My son's driving.
Did they ever give him a reason? What was the reason that they stopped?
He had a bunch of excuses, like I said, oh, you changed lanes, and then I think it was finally, oh, your tint's really dark. Your tint's really dark.
Oh, the not legal tint. But see, this is where I want.
And he let him go. He was like,
that was good. He was blessed, and grace and mercy on that, because this is where I tell my children, all of them, girl, boy, whatever, when you get stopped, make sure you take a note of the little things. The badge number, the squad car number, and all of those things. Because in that instance, that's when we got to put our pen to paper, right? My mom always said the pen is mightier than the sword. And we know that now, right? Right, Constance, right? You got to put it down. Like, every department has some type of accountability office. Now, I'm not saying they all are doing everything right, but once you start plucking at something, right, you gotta document this stuff. You got to report this stuff. You got to report it to the agencies, to the media. You got to continue to make a paper trail. Because at some point we need to be talking to each other. Because in Philando's Castile's face, that guy, I can't remember his name, and I don't want to remember his name.
The Asian guy.
Yeah, he tried to get a job someplace else, or you know what I mean. So if we start talking, they shouldn't be able to do that, to move around and do those types of things, going from county to county.
Okay, so my question is, how can it just be like, I put a gun to your head and now I just let you go without any repercussion, right? Like, shouldn't there be repercussions for even that?
But we have to report it. Like, Constance, I don't know. Did you make a report? Did you tell anybody at his superior? You got to know how to ask for who's the watch commander. I want to see your supervisor. You got to write. You got to show up at these are the
none
things
of that
we
stuff.
don't.
He was somewhere in the Commonwealth of Virginia, somewhere in the country. I don't know where he was.
I'm not saying in the moment, because you want him home safe. Number one, just get the badge number, get home safe. I'm talking about the next day. We going down there. We getting the watch commander. We getting the chief. We writing a report. We reporting to internal affairs. We call it Fox 5 exclusive.
Yeah.
We have to use our voice. They have silenced us from using our voice. If you continuously do that, it brings a light. It's a launch. We shouldn't have to fight that hard, but we do. But I mean, those are the things that you have to do. I mean, my son has had issues. And, and he's not, as he's working through his issues, I don't care what his issues are. What you're going to do is treat him with respect. What you're going to do is not abuse him. I always ask him, did they rough you up? Did they do this? And he'll tell me no, yes, or whatever, because the first thing I'm doing is I'm on the phone. I'm calling. I'm asking, who's the watch commander? Number one question that shuts them down. Who's the watch commander? I need their name and their email. And they're like, huh? Now they want to talk to you a little different because you're speaking their language, right? The watch commander is not their immediate supervisor. That's like their supervisor. So now they're like, oh, okay, you asking for the person that's running this whole shift right now. Yeah, I am, because what you're doing is not, is not proper.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had an incident here happen in my apartment. It wasn't about a traffic stop, but an officer came for a complaint, and he pretty much blew me off. And even that little small thing, he blew me off and didn't do what he was supposed to do in relation to some people that were disturbing the peace out here. That wasn't us. It was crazy. And what I do? I called back to an emergency number, got the supervisor's name. They were calling me. They were catering, because that paper trail, that contact.
Okay, I got a question. All right. Okay. I like this. So could you give us a step-by-step of what to do? I know in this situation, it's almost like a fire drill, right? If you will. Like, what do we do? And in those spaces, I don't think you will have especially if there's a gun to your head, I won't be like, I need to see the watch commander. Like, I just don't,
I'm not talking about
right? But give us a play by play. Everybody take notes in the chat so we can have it. But give us a play by play of what to do if something like that happens to us. Tell us step by step what to do.
That is so good. Well, really quick, just really quick. I'm so glad that you asked that question, Tiara, because the next day or maybe after that happened, I was like, I need help.
Yeah.
And I didn't know anyone in law enforcement at the time. And so I didn't have the resources. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to do. So this is actually very important, because there are going to be more people who are like me who don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, we're talking about traffic stops, right? So the first thing to do, to kind of try to take away their excuses. And what I mean by that is, you're getting pulled over for no reason, right? And a lot of times, civilians may not know these things. But the nerve, like I just talked about, that transplanted officer that's already scared, but he's out there trying to do traffic stops are very dangerous on the blue side, from the blue side, right? So you as the driver can do some things to de-escalate before they even approach your car. Put your interior light on, put all your windows down. That dark tent, had him on tent because he can't see what's going on in there. So that's just one little small thing. Now, if you have a officer that's ethical and above board, he's going to see that and relax a little. It's not going to be all of that, right? So let's say this person continuously escalates it. In your case, Constance, you were on the phone, so that's good. So you had a witness. I would like have somebody call somebody, not let them see the phone is on, for somebody's recording it, hit live. I mean, thank God. And Philando Castile, the girlfriend in the car, videoed it, right? Or we would have never really known that this guy just lost his mind and shot him up, right? That video really helped bring the charges, even though he didn't get convicted, it brought light. So after you do that, I think, like you said, getting them home safe is another one thing. You got to tell your son or daughter, remain calm, do everything they say. You don't even have to ask them their badge number. It's right here. Just look at it, make a note of it, look what they're, and then once you get home, this is what you're asking. The next step is, first self-care, right? Document everything. You're looking in your district to figure out what district is it, who's the supervisor, who's whatever. And then you hit everybody in that chain, their supervisor, the watch commander, the city council, whomever. You have to really go full-fledged out and notifying people. If somebody puts a gun to any of my kids' head, trust and believe the next day, everybody's going to know about it. Barrels or everybody in DC going to know about it, or wherever I am. We got to do that fight thing. Like, you can't just treat us any kind of way, because like you've seen after that, then he's traumatized and he's got flashbacks and he's got all kinds of things. And then they don't get to go back to work and go back to their life like nothing happened, because the police department where I came from, if you pulled your weapon out, you had a whole lot of explaining to do, whether you use it or not. So if all it takes is for us to notify those officials that person pulled their weapon. If they don't know, they can't do anything. So we really can't talk about their non-doing anything at that point, because we ain't tell them. But once we tell them, they have a certain protocol that they have to and must follow. And if they don't, then that's egregious. And then it goes to another level at that point.
That's good.
What's the protocol for de-escalating a situation where, like Constance situation, or if, like Shirley says, there's already yelling, screaming, put your heads down, blah, blah, blah. Like, there's all this. How do we get out of those situations if someone already kind of is approaching the vehicle with a bias, with a mission? Is there a way that we can get out of that?
Those are the best thing I can say is just to try to keep your voice lower, to be calm, don't move. But like, as you can see, Philando did everything right? So sometimes there's just nothing you can do. You can't make sense out of nonsense when you get an idiot that's scared and untrained. And that's what he was, an idiot that was untrained and scared, right? But in a situation where you have someone that has just a little bit of sense, if you speak softer, don't move. Like I said, your windows are down, your lights are on, and say, hey, listen, like, I don't know what's going on here. Or maybe just not say anything. My son, in his encounters, he's been blessed and I've been grateful. He just doesn't really say anything to them. He just quiet. He just looks at them. And then they don't really know what to do. He's not saying nothing. He's just kind of standing there, That has worked for him. That may not work for an aggressive officer, because then they being disrespected. Now they want to get their chest out, right? So when you have someone that's on that warrior bias racist thing, there's nothing we can do but pray and hope God intercedes. That's it. But, if you have someone with a little bit of common sense, then sure, you can help it by de-escalating, and talking and being still. And here's the thing. I do see videos, and we've talked about this at one of our roundtables. We did a roundtable at UDC about safe traffic stops. We like to, because we've been so abused in the system, we like to, what you stop me for? And we'll start I think that we have to stop that. We need to fight. Yes, we need to use our voice, but not in that moment. It's not equal playing field right now. This person got a bullet they can put in your head. You need to get home, zip it, and use your skills and your other tools to do what it is that you need to do. You don't want to do it. You don't like to do it. I had a state trooper stop me in Pennsylvania. My kids were in the car. My tire blew, and he was nasty as hell to me, y'all. Like, my kids were young. I was coming back from Philly. My tire blew up coming through the racist part of Maryland up there, coming like south of the Mason-Dixon line. And he was yelling and because he thought I was just pulling across the road. I'm broke down in my truck with my kids. And I said, now this is when I was an agent for Federal Protective Service. I was full-fledged law enforcement. Didn't tell him nothing. I let him act like an Ace Boone nut. I let him do everything. And I was just quiet. And I didn't say much, but I was seething mad. But guess what I had? Exactly what I just told you. I had his badge number. I had his squad car number. I had the time. I had the mile marker where I was stopped. I had the situation. When I got back to work, I had an advantage because I was working in law enforcement, so I got a little bit further up the chain. But all that stuff went out in the documentation to the state police of Maryland, and they were calling me, apologizing, sending me stuff, all kinds of stuff, because he was completely, I don't even know what his problem was. My tire literally blew up. He should have been making sure we were safe.
Right.
But he was nasty.
That's the thing, is they've gone from protecting and serving. They're not serving.
No.
Is now they want to exercise their authority, and they have the wrong mindset. Is it because is that the way they're trained?
Well, some of it is. That's what I was touching on earlier. The warrior mentality versus guardian, right? So a lot of some of the military concept or whatever, and you take a lot of people that are trained to like fight military, whatever, but there has to be a balance, right? That's why they're implementing more diplomacy and tact, more communication skills and things like that. Those are things that need to be massaged now, right?
Yeah.
Instead of just the brawn, the fighting, the hand-in-hand combat. We do a lot of physical stuff and fighting. We're prepared for that. What we're not prepared for is having a conversation with somebody who's just having a crisis or they had a bad day or wasn't, we need to have tools on both sides of it. So it's really lopsided. It's up here. We can fight, take you down, cuff you, throw you, do all of that. But how do you serve on the other side of that when that's not the necessary thing that you need to do? But officers that are not trained and are afraid don't need to be in our community
at all.
But now our folks, here's the dilemma. Our folks, we don't like the police anymore. I got kids who don't like the police. My own kids, right?
Yeah, and they daddy's the police and you the police, so
and they don't want to be nothing part of the police at all, right?
Yeah.
So if we got back to a place where there was some respect, because when we were kids, there was at least a little bit of respect. I had an uncle that was a chief of police where I came from. Right. And we respected them back then. We don't have that same thing. So the men and women in our communities don't even want to do that anymore. We don't trust them. We don't want to be a part of them. And I mean, even I left the part after all these years, I'm gone,
Yeah.
So you get tired, you throw in the towel and realize that you just can't spin out over these people.
How do you feel about our shifting, like policing our own communities, like just the idea of that, right? Like us moving. Remember, we were talking about that whole idea of defunding the police and maybe like starting to look inward. After Breonna Taylor, us like looking inward and maybe like trying to figure out how to have people in our communities that look like us policing our communities. What do you think about that? I
think it's a good idea to have, because if Lisa and I grew up in this neighborhood, and you guys know me, we went to school together. I know your kids. I think that's going to make a big difference. I do not think that defunding the police in entirety was a good thing. That's not. Now,
I think it was the wording. I think it was the wording.
The defund. You can't defund. That's realign or whatever. Restructure, revamp. Because what we need to do is actually focus more on the mental wellness, right? We need to, like, a lot of times these folks that are out there that are having issues, it's not that they're just kirking out on crimes. They're having some kind of mental problem, or they done smoke something. They think they know they so much. They don't know nothing. They don't even know what they smoking these days. It ain't like back in the day, right? So now they tripping off of what they smoke. You have to be trained to know the difference of what these things are. And what they're exhibiting.
But Lisa, they have more patience. You got to think about. So even the introduction of the drugs into our communities, which increased the police presence, the police brutality, right? So now you have these aggressive people or people who are on drugs, and they treated even drug addicts like criminals. They were giving them, you go and steal. I think we did last couple weeks ago. This guy stole a hoe, and they gave him life in prison in New Orleans because it was his third offense. So they treated them like criminals. But now that the war on drugs has changed, the face of drugs has changed, right? They're Caucasian, and now they're on a different type of drug. It's a different approach.
Now it's a health crisis.
Now it's a crisis.
Yes, now it's a health crisis.
Before it was war.
Right. Yeah. So it's all, of course, people police differently with people who look like them. And then when you talk about defunding the police, I think that was really semantics. If they said restructuring the police, but I think a lot of it got lost because it said defund the police. That means we're taking money from the police and we're not going to give the police any money to do their jobs. And that's the only thing people saw. They didn't understand what defunding the police really meant. Was restructuring the police. It wasn't about taking the money out of the police department. It was really around the training and restructuring the police department.
Well, remember our emotions were really high because you're talking about George Floyd and then Breonna Taylor. It was like bang bang, right? And then all of us watching George Floyd take his last breath after 9.5 minutes. Come on, we all were just like, wait, what just happened? And then you bust into the house and shoot Breonna Taylor, like what? And then there was the person in Texas, another girl or guy got killed. I mean, it was a lot going on. I can't even remember the name for that particular one. So I think what we saw was a knee-jerk reaction and not a response that was sustainable. Right? That's what we need.
Yeah. And so how do we go forward? Because when you have all of these implicit biases in so many areas across society, whether it's in medical,
reallocate. Yes, Sister Shirley. I'm sorry, reallocate. Her comment.
Yeah.
Reallocate.
Yeah. It shouldn't have been defund. Should have been reallocate. Yeah. But how and then because we know the history of policing is slave patrols. So when you have slave patrols, they were out there catching the slaves and bringing them back to the masters, and they had their little badges, and they were they went from the overseers to the slave catchers. Now they're police officers,
right?
And so they still have that mentality. They're not really there to protect and to serve. They've never, for our community, they've never been. If you look at the history of this country, they've never been there to protect and serve Black people. They police white people much differently than they police Black people.
They do. Yes.
I mean, firsthand, right?
I do. I have some examples. Yes.
Yeah, give us some examples.
I got one example that just popped in my head when you said that. So 70 is a district where it's mostly us, right? And so there was an official, and we won't name him, but we'll just talk about the scenario, okay? So there was an official who saw a young white female move into this area that was predominantly us before gentrification really happened. And this man, watch my turn.
He's an official.
He's an official. He's an official. He's a sergeant. He's a lieutenant now. He's still there. He went back to this is how comfortable they are in their boldness, right? He went back to the district, sent out an email to all the people, asking them to do a special patrol, and gave the number of the house of where this white female had moved in with her baby. And he was bold enough to put why, because she just moved in. She was a single mother. And he added that she would more likely be the next victim of a crime. Yeah. And he was dumb enough to put that in writing and send it to his subordinates, who were mostly Black and brown folks, right? We're talking about 7th District. Well, needless to say, he got in trouble for that, I guess.
But you said he got a promotion since then. So
well, later, but not right away. He shouldn't be there now because there's still issues with him. But that's another story because that's still a legal part, right? But in that moment, it was the sergeants and the officers who really took him to task. They said, okay, so what about all of our Black single female moms that live all over? Are you sending patrols for her? What makes you think she's going to be the next victim? What is it? I mean, they pummeled this man. I actually have, this is what I mean about the pen, the sword, the pen is mightier than the sword, because it was those emails that was coming from different officers and sergeants that really racked him up to the point that it went all the way up the chain of command, and they had to discipline him. Did they want to? Probably not. Would they have swept it under if nobody would have said anything? Sure, they would have, but they couldn't, because it was too many of us that united, had paperwork, and stepped to him about it. You cannot correct what you will not confront. We got to use our voice, stop being scared, and step up.
Wow. Wow. So how can the system change though? If how does the police police the police?
Well, first of all, you got to get the puppets out and get the people in there that aren't scared and to really do what you need to do. I mean, you can't have people in there that have biases. You can't keep people in there that are making jokes, that have sustained charges about making jokes about Black people, passing around Trump tea. You can't have those people. Got to go, right? You really have to revamp and rebuild it from the bottom up. You really do. And the leaders that are in there that have, they got to go if it's just checking a box. And the DEI being now gone, so how much more bolden? I don't know if you guys followed MPD's Shane Lamont, Lieutenant Shane Lamont, it was associated with the Proud Boys. Have y'all seen that? Look that up. Yeah. So he was literally part of the intel community that was connected to the Proud Boys somewhat, and he just got sentenced or convicted not a couple weeks ago. Just look it up, Lieutenant Shane Lamont. So that's an example of someone who was in the community, in mid-management, who was feeding information to the Proud Boys that led to January 6th.
So Trump didn't commute his sentence?
I don't know. Maybe we got to check that. I need to figure out if he did or not, because he might have. He probably did. I'm not sure though. I would have to fact check that, verify that. But what I'm saying is he literally was giving the people on the ground information as they were moving from inside of the police department as a lieutenant in the intelligence. That's
I mean, we know that it happens all through police precincts all across the country, especially, you know, some are more bold than others. And so what do we Black people got to do in order to protect ourselves?
Get city council. We got to start voting on this. Next 2 years, we need to get all them people out. First of all, everybody.
City council. Wait. Before you give a solution, Tiara, I know you over there on set, girl, and I know you got to get. What are you guys talking about today on Fly Nubian Money?
So, Black people are having some issues finding jobs right now. People in the Black communities are having issues finding jobs, and that may be because of automation and the way that they're putting those resumes into the system, and they're kind of weeding you out. So I have, so we're going to talk about some ideas for side hustles or things, entrepreneurship ideas, all the things. So make sure you come through. I have a list of like 40 side hustle ideas that you can start that I'm going to send out to people who watch the show.
Okay.
So, just trying to get you together because, that we have some forces against us, but we can rise. We can rise.
I love it. So that's what's the topic? I know it's going to be on Black people in jobs, but what's the subject?
Basically, like Black employment is unemployment is down, or Black unemployment is up, and so we want to make sure it's much harder for people to find jobs right now. So we want to make sure that we talk through side hustles. That's the alternative. So
side hustles, all right.
Yeah,
bet.
Side hustles, entrepreneurial, entrepreneurial teams.
We need that. We need that. The Bible says we need to have 7, no 8 revenue streams in case of disaster strikes.
Multiple streams of income.
Unemployment is a disaster.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, cool. Okay, well, we'll see you, girl. Anything else?
Yeah, make sure that y'all check us out. Like I said, Fly Nubian Money. We're on at 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're coming up right after this. And if you have a business and you are interested in adding your business to our Fly Nubian Money directory, make sure that you email me at info@realvirtual.net. I feel like we have to spend, we talk about this all the time. At this point, we have $2 trillion in consumer spending money that we need to start consuming with our own people. We're only spending 2% of that wealth with our community. So we just got to take that up 10%, then 50%. We have that in the internet. That's basically our reparations, y'all. We gotta bet.
We're going to keep saying it till our faces turn blue.
We
We're going to
will.
keep talking about that thing.
We will. So I love y'all for real. I love y'all for real. It was so nice to meet you, Lisa.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you for giving me all the things. I mean, she gave me a lot of things to think about today in terms of like when we're stopped in. And I could have really had gone on and on and on with this conversation because we don't know what to do when we get stopped. Even as a Black woman, when I see a police car, I could be in just completely, my tags are good, everything is good, and I will still feel like
that heartbeat.
There's some anxiety that still like comes up in me. It doesn't matter. I'm like, is everything good? Did I do anything? You feel guilty for no reason.
Traumatized.
And so, you know what I'm saying? So it's really like starting to like unpack what to do in those situations. Like, how can we change those relationships that we have with law enforcement? How can we?
It's ingrained in the system. So you really got to say, well, what can we do differently? And I think when you talked about how you got to change your attitude and not be so confrontational. You know, for
Yeah.
me, for my son, I just want you home. We'll figure it out when you get home. And then, you know, my son's in the country somewhere, so he don't get no badge number. He don't know where he was. I don't know. So I was just happy he was home. But now I know going forward, these are the things that we have to do. So this definitely was very informative.
I
But
think it's
even
so
without,
interesting that we can't be
yeah,
not confrontational, but it's like we have to be the ones. We've been violated, but
inquisitive.
still we have to
We
be
can
quiet.
ask. We can ask. And then even though he didn't have any of that content, I'll just say this: it don't matter. He could have came home with nothing. That dispatch in that county knows when and where that car was stopped. All you need is your car tag. You still can go with that tag number and your son. And if you get there and they don't have any record of that stop, then that person is even more trouble. So don't
Yeah,
stop
I'm
thinking.
sure I feel like he didn't have a record of the stop because the way he let him go.
Yeah, he may not have, but he would have probably ran his tag, so there would have been a footprint. We would have just had to do a little harder digging. You know what I
Got
mean?
it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm out of here, y'all.
All right, we'll
I'll
see
see
you in
y'all
an hour.
tomorrow. Okay.
All
Bye.
right.
All right.
So what do we do, Lisa? Go back and give us the blueprint for the
Oh,
people.
we're still on. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we still on. We still got a lot of people watching you.
Okay. What were we saying? Go back and give the blueprint of
The blueprint of what we can do from our end in terms of how we deal with the police, because even though black on black crime is down, that's great. I feel like they're still looking for a reason to criminalize black people, to try to arrest us. You know, you got to think about it, because I look at everything from a historical perspective and a systemic perspective, and I see how America was built on free labor. Okay. So then once free labor went away, they had to figure out, well, how can we still maintain this and not have to pay out a bunch of money? Well, let's start criminalizing a certain group of people. So then they start criminalizing black people. And so now, disproportionately, we're jailed at higher rates than everybody else. And so there's this intentional warfare against black people to jail us, to keep us, locked up, to break down the black family and all of those other things. But it's really around, capitalism. But how do we, what do we teach our sons? What are you teaching your sons, and how to deal in those situations? Not even in just stops, or, what if they're walking down the street while black? One of the things I always said is my kids could had they pants up to their chest and look like Poindexters, but because they have black skin, they're still a threat. It doesn't matter. So how do these young black people, how can they, how do they have to show up in the world so that they aren't criminalized, aren't arrested, aren't, harassed by law enforcement? Yeah. And oh, by the way, for those of you who are just tuned in, we are talking about black on black crime being on the decline. Lisa Burton is a black and blue mom. She's also in Moms of Black Sons. She's also an advocate for Moms of Black Sons, and she was in law enforcement for over 30 years. And she actually fought law. She's been on both sides, fighting against law enforcement and fighting for law enforcement. And so she's just the perfect person to have this conversation with. But go ahead, girl.
Oh, listen, I guess I was thinking about, let's talk about our sons that have already had some kind of encounter, right? That's minor, that shouldn't have the record. This is what we were talking about earlier. We got to teach them to do what they do, and expunging their records and getting in there and doing the paperwork. When you have these little marijuana charges and all these different things that are keeping you from getting jobs, make yourself more employable, fight those things, do the things that you don't want to do. It's going to be tedious. It's going to be a lot of red tape. They're going to make you go through a lot of steps that are going to frustrate you because they drag it out, but it's very well worth it. It has to come off your records, right? And I mean, I hope at some points we can all come together and figure out, how do we come together as a people? And if the president of the United States can be a felon, then there isn't a felon in the United States that have a problem getting a job now, right? So we have to figure out how to undo that, because if he can be POTUS, then our sons or whomever in the community had something that happened 25, 30 years ago should not be restricted to this little box of jobs, or the black jobs that Trump thinks that we're supposed to have.
The Mexicans are taking the black jobs.
Yeah, right. So we have to do that. But I think I can't say it enough. It's about our voice. It's about documenting. It's about showing up, paying attention to what's going on in your politics locally. Yeah. I think last year, actually 2023, then I testified in front of City Council when MPD was trying to implement a new thing about body-worn cameras. I was still working there then. I didn't agree. They basically wanted to give the office of the agents the opportunity to look at the video before they gave their statement. I said, hell no. it did end up passing on, with different tweaks or whatever. But I did testify as Mob United's advocate against that, because I felt like you're giving them the answers to the test. What we're doing is trying to test their aptitude and their intention in that moment. So to let them see what happened first is cheating.
Right.
That's not ethical. There's nothing ethical about that. That's absurd. So, and at the time I did it, it was, I probably didn't leave the department in my chief's highest light, but hey, we have to use our voice. We have to stand up for what's right, no matter what. But there's both sides of it. Some of my closest friends and I didn't agree on that, because I have a good girlfriend, and she was like, no, Lisa, we should be able to look at it. But what her point was, they should be able to look at it for like minor things. Like I couldn't remember the color of the car that they stopped, and they're trying to write an accurate report, right? Well, that's different. I'm talking about when there's use of force, when somebody's injured, when there's a discrepancy about the arrest or the stop, right? No, you don't get to see what you did with your body worn camera before you tell me what happened as the internal affairs agent. Hell no.
Right.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah, that part.
That's where I was with it.
Well, here's what I love about you, and I'm gonna tell you business real quick, because I know you're not ready. I know you're not ready for this part, but I do want to get you prepared. So Lisa is a part of the Net 7 Collective. I know you guys hear me talk about Net 7 Collective all the time, where we have just dynamic women from all over the country that are doing some really, really amazing things. One of the projects that Lisa is working on is helping Black people helping people get their records expunged. And I know you don't have that now. She's going to start doing some seminars and some workshops around that. But if it's something, if there's somebody that if it's you or somebody that that needs their record expunged, if you don't mind, DM Lisa at leaky_love. She'll put you on a wait list because she's going to start doing some education around how to get your records expunged, because that is important. Even though our current president is a felon and he's able to get the highest position of the land, your Black ass still can't go on a Target and get a job because of your criminal record. So you still need to work on getting your, and it all things being equal, it's not equal. So he can have a felony. You cannot have a felony. You're going to have to get your record expunged. Lisa is going to be doing that in the near future. This is one of the projects that we're working on as part of her give back to the community, which I think is awesome. I think it's amazing because there are so many people that need this. So if you or somebody go over there, follow her on Instagram, first of all. And then number two, shoot her a DM and tell her that you want to be on this wait list to get this information on getting your record expunged. Because this is what she does. She knows how to do this stuff, and she's going to either start showing you how to do it, or she's going to either do it, help you do it for you, or whatever. But this is something that she's going to be doing pretty soon. Okay.
Yes, Coach Carter. Yes.
Oh, by the way. Oh, listen, I'm gonna put you I'm gonna put your feet to the fire. You already know what it is. You already know what it is. She's like, I'm not ready yet. Well, we're gonna get ready. You ain't, that's right. So this is something that's needed, and this is something that you're really talented at, and this is also your passion, not just Mob's mother of Black sons, but also, you giving back to the community and helping our community in a way that we really need. We really need that service from you. So thank you for doing that. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate you, obviously, and of course.
Yeah. So before we get out of here, can you tell them about your experience with Net 7?
Woo, wow. Let me tell you, it has been phenomenal. Net 7 came together for one thing and shared our testimonies and our stories. And I mean, it just really helps you get out of that box that you put yourself in. Constance is awesome, coach, because she really doesn't take no for an answer. So get ready to you better stay ready. She's gonna, but really all she's doing is helping, not all, because it's amazing, tapping into what you have inside of you that you've been hesitant or afraid to let out, right? So you have that person that holds you accountable and pushes you forward and thrusts you. And then you have this community of other women across the country that are just phenomenal also, and you share and you have a sisterhood. And in our cohort, it turned into a book. So I mean, you never know what's going to happen, because we didn't start that.
Where your book at?
My book is right over there somewhere. I don't know. My daughter's getting it. So we didn't start this up. We had 17 people in my cohort, and we all had stories. Here it is, Unbreakable. Yes. And so, once you realize, but here's the thread, the common thread about Net 7 I love. We were all 17 different strangers, right? And what is the one common denominator? It was God, his intention, and his grace that thread us all together to tell them stories. And they were so linked and intertwined. And I have hair, like my hair stands up on the back of my neck, because all glory to God and how he did that thing.
God.
Because as I read our stories, because we didn't all read everybody's story, but when we finally read, and I'm reading through it, I'm like, wow, we're really smart, but we're not that smart. This was all God, really, really. But definitely CC is the one to whip you into shape. So if you haven't signed up, you should.
Yeah, if you're interested in Net 7 Collective, go to net7bbs.com and we'll have a conversation. So we'll have a conversation about what that looks like for you, because I like to meet everybody and have a personal conversation with everybody personally to see if they'll be a good fit, because some of you may not be a good fit. There are definitely people that I've said, this is not the thing for you, and there's people for sure. And there's people that I've said, yeah, I think you would be a great fit. It just has to match, because energy and synergy is extremely important.
That's real.
Like,
that's real.
We can't just have it anybody. So, but that's the reason why, that's what makes it so amazing, is that all of these ladies were handpicked. And I was making sure I was very intentional about the culture and the environment, and just really respective of who each individual was, what they were able to bring, and then what they were able to receive, because they're all serving each other. Everybody's giving to everybody, like all day. Like this phone is like on fire all day with them, just like just
talking to each other. Yes.
Just talking. And this one right here, and I want to offer my condolences. She just lost her sister a couple of days ago.
Thank you.
And the lady stepped up, and
they really did. I was gonna say thank you. I was gonna close with that. I just wanted to thank you guys. It's really been helpful to help me even keep pushing, because for a minute I wasn't even sure I was gonna come on, but here I am, because of the strength, love, and support, God's grace, and then you guys really lifted me up and my family. So I really appreciate that. It's a difficult time. And I don't know if you even knew, but I lost my sister, and 12 hours later I lost my cousin.
Yeah.
So I've got 2 deaths. So yeah. But life, life is, what they say, you can't reign with them if you don't suffer with them. So here we are.
Jesus, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. So 2 things again. I want to make sure that you guys, hit up Lisa at leaky_love. Make sure you follow her, DM her if you know anybody, or if you need your record expunged. She'll put you on the list for when she starts this. But she's going to be starting now that especially since she's dealing with all the things, all the family stuff. That's not going to be something that she does like right now. But it is something that we are putting together for her.
Yes, I will come back to you for certain.
Yeah. So, but you'll over the next several months, you'll be able to work with her to get that expungement. And then, what are you doing for moms? How can they work with you with Mother of Black Sons?
Oh, so Moms of Black Boys United. It's mobunited.org.
I got it all wrong. Moms of Black Boys is Moms of
Black Boys United is mobunited.org. They can look that up. And we're in the middle of transitioning with our executive leadership right now, so we'll see. But the whole idea and concept is the same. We support the mothers that have lost sons, and just families that are just going through something. We also celebrate our sons. We don't want the narrative to always be about all the negative things. So you'll find a lot of things. There's a Facebook page that is, I want to say 166,000 moms across the world that go in and talk. I mean, they talk about things where, when I say Moms of Black Boys, I'm not just talking about Black and brown women. I'm talking about any person that has a child that's Black, right? So we have white moms, Asian moms, Hispanic moms that are all in there. And some of the support is as simple as, I don't know how to do my child's hair. Can you help me? I mean, it's a sisterhood. It's a real sisterhood. And then, it might be something else, but I mean, it's not all about the ones that have been killed, but that is the heaviest lift. But there's also positive celebrations. They share, graduations, prom pictures, all of that. Now there's also the organization where you can get a part of, and then you can build a chapter in your area where we actually come together collectively, like I've done in DC, meet the local moms and do things together around, serve the community and things of that nature.
That's awesome. I love that. Thank you for your service. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Okay. So they can follow you on leaky_love, LEEKIE_love. Do you have any last words before we get up out of here?
Do I have any last words? Just use your voice. Remember that. Use your voice and let your pen be mightier. The sword is mighty. I mean, the pen is mightier than the sword. Don't always have to fight in the moment. sometimes you pause and then come back to fight another day. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I would say that I just want to tell people, do your research. There's a lot of information on the internet. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe everything that you hear in the media. Black people are doing well. You may not see Black people in your immediate circle doing well, but please know that there are Black people that are doing well and that will be happy to mentor you, to train you, to coach you. Reach out to people outside of your circle. If you don't have those resources inside your circle, reach out. Get educated. Make sure that, if whatever you need is out there. You can Google anything. Google University is free. But if you need a much more guided approach, you can come to me. You even have Lisa. Lisa could probably, I'm sure she could mentor you and train you, because I only deal with really, 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 really positive women that are just on the move. So just reach out to us if you need anything. We are here to really help you to improve your life. And before we go, so every day this month, Lisa, we are doing you got your book? Put your book up again. First of all, I want to tell them to get that. So go to Amazon, get her book, Unbreakable. Search for Lisa Burton, Unbreakable. Grab her book. Your chapter is what, Lisa?
17. The last
you're the last chapter.
I'm the closer.
She's the closer, and her chapter is chapter is called Unbreakable or something like that, right?
Yes, I forget. It has it in the title.
Yeah. So she's the closer, and amazing story. So you guys pick it up, support us. We will also support you. And like I was saying, every day we do a Black History Month tribute. I always try to do something that's going to inform the people in one way or another. And so we're talking today on the Black History Tribute about medical apartheid. They say trust the medical system, but do you know what they've done to Black people? From forced experiments to medical abuse, the history of medicine in America is built on Black suffering. And the receipts? They're all in Harriet Washington's book, Medical Apartheid. Let's talk about the real history of Black bodies in medicine. Now, first, let's start with the father of modern gynecology, J. Marion Sims. His name is on hospitals and statues, but what they don't tell you is he perfected his surgical techniques by operating on enslaved Black women without anesthesia. Women like Anarcha, Betsy, and Lucy were forced to endure excruciating pain so that white women could benefit from better medical procedures. Now let's talk about one of the most infamous medical abuses in U.S. history, the Tuskegee syphilis experiment. For 40 years, from 1932 to 1972, the U.S. government knowingly let hundreds of Black men suffer from untreated syphilis just to study the effects. Now, doctors lied to them. They told them they were receiving treatment, but in reality, they were being used as lab rats. Some of them died slow and painful deaths, and others passed the disease to their wives and their children, and this is all because of medical racism. And then there's Henrietta Lacks. She's a Black woman whose cells changed medicine forever without her consent. In 1951, doctors at Johns Hopkins took her cells without her permission while treating her for cancer. Her cells, now known as HeLa cells, became the foundation of modern medicine. They helped create vaccines, cancer treatments, and even led to advance in HIV research. Her cells made billions for pharmaceutical companies, but her family never saw a dime. And then let's not forget, the abuse didn't stop in the past. For decades, Black women, especially in the South, were forcibly sterilized without their knowledge. This happened under the government programs called Mississippi appendectomies, where doctors lied to Black women, telling them that they were getting a routine procedure, but instead they were being sterilized. And today, Black women are still more likely to die in childbirth, and doctors are still more likely to ignore pain. This is why medical distrust in our community is real. Medical racism, it is not a conspiracy, it's history. But here's the thing. Knowing our past helps us protect our future. Harriet Washington's Medical Apartheid, it lays out all the receipts. So if you haven't read it yet, now's the time. Now drop a Black fist in the comments if you're reclaiming knowledge, and share this so many people will learn the truth. Did you know all of that?
Not all of it. I knew about Henrietta.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I read her book and I knew. Yeah, I didn't know all of that though. That's a lot.
Yeah. We have been human guinea pigs in this country and this is the reason why I'm always trying to go and try to interweave all of this stuff into where we are today, because people think that where we are is a result of us. Oh, we just need to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. We got to stop being lazy. We got to stop getting the Gucci belt and all that stuff. It's way deeper. It's way bigger than that. That's surface stuff. But we got to change the conversation. But the only way we're going to know where we're going is where we know is when we know where we've been. We know what we've done to us. We wake up and then we do things different. Yeah. Got to do things different. Yeah.
Amen. Absolutely.
So last but not least, you guys, I do have the Grow Your Money Club, which is much cheaper and much less expensive. The investment is way less than all of the other things that we have going on. So if you want to get training for the next 12 months,
it's Constance Carter, your wealth activist, and it is time to get in the gym. The Grow Your Money Club. The Grow Your Money Club is a 12-month comprehensive training where I teach you how to build a sustainable business and go from being an employee to an investor. Go to growyourmoney.club to sign up today.
Y'all, I got over 30 trainings that take you from being an employee to an investor with multiple revenue streams, all the things that they're going to be talking about on Fly Nubian Money in the next 30 minutes. So go to growyourmoney.club, sign up so that you can not only become a credit expert, use your credit as leverage to build your wealth, get business credit, learn how to build your business, learn how to invest in real estate and stock, and then learn multiple revenue streams. It's a whole 12-month process. So you go to growyourmoney.club if you're interested. And then finally, we out of here. Hold on, Lisa. We out of here. We'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, same